Right, everyone, we're joined by Dynamo head coach Ben Olsen. I'll go ahead and kick things off. If you have any questions, please use the raise my hand option. We'll go ahead and start off with just opening remarks, Ben, in terms of just how the team's been navigating preparations for tomorrow's game against FC Dallas, second road game here of the week before the team returns home next game at home.
Quick turnaround for us, as well as Dallas. So in the same boat there. We a little bit more travel on our legs, but real no excuses as far as being able to turn around. Fairly healthy and looking forward to a derby game against a very good opponent who's in good form right now. So we'll have to be at our best. We're looking to respond from obviously two losses, but both very, very different games. One with the red card and a second red card. And this last one, again, something we can a lot of good again, but still faltering a little bit in attack. So we're tweaking some things to hopefully still be sound defensively going forward, but always pushing in ideas on how to be more clinical and well versed in the final third and score some goals.
Thanks for that. We'll start with Victor. Go ahead.
Ben, rivalry game first of yours against FC Dallas as Dynamo coach. What can you tell fans to maybe hype them up for this game, make them feel good about making the trip up to Dallas, taking a few buses?
Well, I just tell them that it means a lot to us to see some orange in the crowd. We were just in, even if it's a few, we were just in Minnesota and we saw a few orange shirts, and I think the players appreciate it, the organization appreciates it, and this is a different animal, right? It's a trip that's doable, and just again the message is that it helps. Every person coming and supporting us gives us a little bit more energy, and we're thankful for the ones that will make the trip. And if they don't, that's okay too. Watch the game and give us good energy from afar.
Yeah. Rivalry games like this, do you approach them differently, and what do you remember playing in these type of games as a player, and maybe how you would approach these games?
There's not a big lead up into this game, so there's a little bit of a change in that you have a whole week to lead into some of these derby games. Right now, it's really turning the page, learning from the game before. And turning the page and focusing on the next opponent every few days. So the message is that yes, this game is a little extra special, as is the Austin game coming in a week's time as well. So, but really, it's about still understanding who they are and how they have success, and then sticking to what is the good of our group and what is been positive so far, and then trying to fix our negatives and trying to tweak some things to make sure we're a whole team. So there's a little bit more gasoline on this, but we're really focused on just continuing to just get better. We're still in a moment, it was still early in the season where in particular with some new players. Now we have some injuries and suspensions and things like this. We're really trying to evolve and try to find the next kind of evolution of this group. And that's one that's sound defensively, but also scores some more goals. And so we'll see how that plays out this weekend.
First meeting, at least as head coaches, against Nico Esteves. What do you know about him, his playing style, and maybe if you cross paths with him at any point?
Yeah, I know Nico really well. He's first off, he's a wonderful human, and I consider him a friend in the soccer world. His time at Austin with Wolfie and Dave Arnaud, I've gotten to know him, and a very sharp guy. I know that they miss him a little bit there. He's again a really good brain. Similar styles to, in some ways to Austin, high pressing. They do a good job of, he does a good job of getting these guys coming after you collectively. And they've got some good quality in the midfield. They got real pace. So yeah, a lot of respect for him. He's a very good coach, and when we're not playing them, I root for him as much as I do, I guess, any other coach.
They got a striker in good form in Jesus Ferreira. Obviously, U.S. men's national team. How do you approach a player like that in the moment that he's having?
He's always in good form. That's what it seems like over the last year and a half. He's so effective because he does so much, right? Defensively, he's got a really good sense of timing and how to shape the game, repressing but on the other side, he understands where the space is and when the ball turns over, is he an option in midfield to come underneath and be kind of that 9.5? But he also is so complete and able to get behind his timing to put himself in good positions beyond the center backs, and then just the quality comes through, right? The first touch to put himself in a shooting position, and then the hard part is touching the net, and he has that as well. So very complete. We'll stay around him, keep tight, make sure you get hands on him in the box. Make sure midfielders understand when he's coming in to overload in the center of the park. But that's usually an okay thing if he's goes back and needs to get his touches. Okay. The real worry is when he is, 18 and in and what he can do, whether it's being on the end of service or creating his own shot. He's just very well rounded and a forward that has a high quality.
As Dynamo 2 and North Texas faced off also this weekend, I want to ask you about the North Texas coach, Javier Cano. He was your assistant at DC. Just what can you tell us about maybe your moments with him in DC, what you taught him, what he learned from you, what you learned from him, any personal stuff like that?
Their head coach. Victor, could you repeat the
who?
Javier Cano? Cano, I guess. Well, Cano's probably how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to review my relationship with him. I don't have the name right fully.
Okay. Also, salaries coming out this week in MLS. Just wondering if how you've seen the culture change in DC. I know in DC. In MLS, obviously, it's a different game from when you were playing. How do you see it? Do you feel like players, value what they have in today's MLS in this type of perspective?
Oh, the salary report.
Yes.
I haven't looked through it. I'm glad these guys are making more money. It's as simple as that. It's great. Do they appreciate it? I don't know. Who knows? Everybody's different. I can't speak for hundreds of players and how they look at their finances. But I do think it's a good sign that the salaries are moving up. It's my responsibility. It's the league's responsibility. It's the organization's responsibility, in my mind, to continually push this league forward and make the infrastructure and the quality on the field better, more entertaining. And in order to do that, the salaries have to rise and to attract talent in the global game. It's pretty simple. And some are overpaid, some are underpaid. This is the nature of every sport in the world. And I know it's sexy to say, oh, he's making $8 million or his transfer fee was, actually the transfer fees aren't even in there. So I would take that with a grain of salt, some of this stuff, and some of it's all gray. But yeah, it's good. Overall, I think everybody's done a good job to progress this league. But I think the quality on the field can get better.
Thanks, Ben. Good luck.
Yep. Thank you.
Anything else for Ben before we wrap up?
Who are these other guys? Ask a question. Joe, Jorge, Dustin, who are these guys? No questions from you guys?
Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, man.
Hey, Dustin.
Hey, You went over this a little bit, but a third of the way through the season, just curious your thoughts on, how the team has progressed since you took over and maybe some areas that you guys are still kind of working on.
Well, I've talked about at length. We're pretty good defensively, and we're not pretty good offensively. So yeah, it is in some ways that simple for us, and we're working on it, and we continue to work on it. Whether it's changing certain players to get in now and trying to evolve and getting that better while still keeping our defensive identity and being tough to break down. So that's kind of the challenge that we live with. But look, we lost 2 in a row. Like, yeah, we're coming from a place where this is never going to be a game, a team right now where we win 3 in a row and then tie and then lose and then win 3 in a row. That's not where we're at right now, right? Hopefully that's the case soon, but this is still, we have to go. I know we had a little early success, in particular at home, but this is still a huge work in progress. And each game we go out to win and get results. But within there's a discovery process in each of these games and kind of fine tuning what we believe is going to make us successful, putting in players that we're evaluating to be a part of that 11, or are they going to be part of that group coming off the bench, or are they not going to be a part of this thing going long term? So these are all things that are going through our minds, and we're tweaking the game model constantly as this is, we have 19, 18 new players this year. That's a lot of players to kind of figure out who we are. And we've had injuries and suspensions. These aren't excuses. This is just reality. This is where we're at. So as much as it's, I say that to kind of the takeaways are there's been a lot of good. And I think we're honing in on, a lot of things that are going to be sustainable here for the positive. And some of the things that aren't really clicking, we've certainly identified, and we're trying to work on that within trainings and then also within the recruitment of new players to come in here to help us in some of those deficiencies. So that's kind of our process, and it's been an enjoyable one. I think the players, for the most part, have real buy-in and good energy in the project here so far. But it's MLS. You're going to go on good stretches. You're going to go on bad stretches, and you try to stay. You try not to get too low, not get too high with all this stuff, and just keep chugging along and getting better. And at some point, hopefully, it clicks.
And just last one from me, you've talked about the importance of the Open Cup, obviously Dallas first, but do you kind of have one eye on the Open Cup as well, or how do you guys kind of handle that as a staff?
We have both eyes on Dallas, and maybe the eye in the back of my head on the Open Cup, but it's Dallas is the important one, and then after that we'll focus on the Open Cup. Well, we have an idea of a lineup for them, of how we go about that game, but nothing there affects what we would do in preparations for Dallas. We're not saving anybody. There's nothing we would change because of that game that would halt any success that for potential success for Dallas.
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome, buddy. Thanks for asking the question, Dustin.
Jorge, go ahead.
Hey, Ben. Unfortunately, no question, but have a safe trip, and I hope to see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jorge. Nice to hear your voice, man.
Thank you. See you tomorrow, man. Good luck.
Manny, go ahead.
Hey Ben, just a quick question. Knowing, I think coming into the season, I was just thinking about what Dustin said. Coming into the season, high expectations. I think no one expected for a partnership of Mikel and even Barflow starting at least these past games. How do you assess of these two, the young defenders that are coming into the MLS and actually putting up results?
Yeah, one thing I keep kind of going back to, one of the things that I'm really proud of, is Ethan's evolution as a starting center back in this league. Kid had, a college kid has come in and got some games last year and has really kind of stepped up and shown that he's a starting center back in the league. And then just, Mika, the guy that had 45 minutes last year and is able to come in and replace one of the best left-footed defenders in the league in teenage, has been really impressive and really rewarding as a coaching staff. And I know that the players are excited to have them back there. So to have those options going forward, now we add Eric into the mix. Daniel Steris is, as we go, and obviously another option at center back. And then teenage gets back later in the year. Hopefully we have a real good collection now of competition at that center back position, which is huge, which is a big reason why teams have success in this league. When they have a center back go down, it's next man up, and they have real quality because of the importance of the position. So that part is great. And the back line in general, Daniel Steris playing right back, which he's never played, and doing a pretty good job and putting up some good defensive numbers collectively. Franco Escobar, notice he's not left-footed, and he's taking kind of one for the team and doing the job out there. So it's been makeshift from the get-go. Tate going down, and then the two starters essentially with teenage as well. And then Eric and Brad Smith taking some time to get back. Chase Gasper's been out for 8 months. So at some point, we're going to have a lot of healthy defenders and good competition. And that's a great thing for a coach. But in the meantime, guys have to step up. And I think for the most part, they've done that. Good. Joe?
Hey, Ben.
Yep.
So last game you subbed out Steres for Smith at halftime. Is not that Steres is doing much wrong at the right back position but is getting Escobar on his natural side and getting a more attacking left back important going forward to add some more width to the attack?
Yeah, from an offensive standpoint, that makes sense. We're down a goal, and to push the game, to have a natural lefty out there and a natural righty on the that is more attacking on the right side. It's more of an attacking structure for us. And going forward, that may be what it looks like. And when Brad gets sharp and healthy and can do 90 minutes, that's a nice option to have. So again, that's when we speak about kind of who we were up until this point, and now, okay, what's the next evolution of us and getting forward and making sure we're more goal dangerous, higher expected goals and chance creation, but not losing our identity of a team that is tough to break down. So those are the things that keep me sleeping not so great.
Do you think having Smith as a wider option, do you think that helps Bossy when he tucks in more and it allows that overlapping run?
Yes. Yeah. We have a lot of internal guys that anytime you have those type of players, if you can give a real threat wide that can go, 18 to 18 and actually have a threat of service. One of the issues, Franco has is he's not left-footed. And so we're not getting down into those spots. He does at times. But when you do have a lefty there, you have a little bit more urgency for opponents to get out to them, and that frees up Bossy. So you take that. We'll take the Bossy option. Take Bossy. Now we have some service out wide. So at some point we'll get to that again, next evolution. But for now we have who we have, and Brad's still coming back from 8-9 months of injury, so he's still getting his way sharp, still getting sharpness, and still finding his rhythm with it too.
All right.
Good. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Ben.